Toyota is launching a new version of its bestseller, the RAV4, but there are some headwinds when it comes to tariffs, and of course that involves where they make them.
And staying with Motown, semiconductors shortage has become a nightmare for Japanese automaker Toyota. Now, one of the leading car makers it is in the world.
Toyota is known for reliability, innovation, and manufacturing mastery. But did you know it builds a car every 60 seconds? Welcome to Toyota Motor Manufacturing, Kentucky, the largest Toyota factory in the world, where cutting-edge robotics, precision engineering, and a dedicated workforce combine to produce over 500,000 vehicles each year. But how does a single plant manage such an incredible pace without compromising quality, efficiency, or sustainability?
We believe a one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work as we transition to this new future. We think, again, multiple products can meet the customer's needs.
Join us as we take a detailed look at Toyota's world's biggest factory that builds a car in 60 seconds. Toyota Motor Manufacturing, Kentucky. Welcome to the story of the world's biggest Toyota factory, and no, it's not in Japan. It's right in the middle of the U.S., in Georgetown, Kentucky. This factory is so big and so fast, it rolls out a brand new car every 60 seconds. That's right. Every single minute, a new Toyota hits the road. So, how did Kentucky end up as the center of Toyota's universe? Let's rewind and look at how it all started. Back in May 1986, Toyota broke ground on a huge new plant, its first fully owned factory in the United States. This was a big deal because up until then, Toyota had partnered with other companies, like GM, through a joint venture called NUMMI in California. However, in Kentucky, they went all in, and Georgetown was the chosen spot. It might seem like an odd choice at first glance, but there were solid reasons. Let's take a look at them. For one, Georgetown is just off I-75, the highway that runs through the heart of the Midwest, close to Detroit, Ohio, Indiana, and other major auto hubs. That meant suppliers were nearby, and shipping costs could stay low. Kentucky also had a strong base of workers. Labor costs were lower than in Michigan or Illinois, but workers were still skilled and motivated. It was a win-win. Construction moved fast, and just 2 years later, in May 1988, the first car rolled off the line, a Toyota Camry. That car wasn't just another sedan, it marked the beginning of a major shift for Toyota in America. It meant they weren't just shipping cars from Japan anymore. They were building them right here, in the U.S., for the U.S. Over the years, the place grew fast, and today the plant covers 9 million square feet. That's the size of about 155 football fields, and it sits on 1,300 acres of land. It's not just a bunch of buildings, it's a whole community. Nearly 10,000 people work at the Georgetown plant. Some families have had 2 or even 3 generations working there. In a single year, the plant can crank out 550,000 vehicles and about 600,000 engines. Since that first Camry in 1988, they've built over 14 million vehicles total. That includes the Camry, of course, but also the RAV4 hybrid and even Lexus models like the ES350 and the ES300H. In 2024 alone, they built over 700,000 engines. That's a massive output, one of the largest in the US. But the story isn't just about size or numbers. Toyota has put more than $11 billion into this plant since it opened. That's not just building new lines or buying new equipment. It includes things like training centers, research labs, and better facilities for the workers. The company has also given back to the community. Since 1986, they've donated about $163 million to causes in Kentucky, such as schools, food programs, and local charities. So, while Toyota's building cars, it's also helping build the community. Why did this factory become so important? It's because Toyota saw Georgetown as a smart long-term bet. They wanted more control over quality. They wanted to be closer to their biggest market, North America. And they wanted to make sure they could react quickly when things changed, like when gas prices rose or when customers started asking for hybrids. Building cars in Kentucky gave them all of that, and that gamble paid off. The Georgetown plant became the anchor for Toyota's growth in the U.S. It set the standard and other Toyota plants followed, but Georgetown remained the biggest and busiest. Even today, they're still thinking ahead. In 2024, Toyota announced a $922 million upgrade to their paint shop. That project is expected to finish by 2027. They're also investing another $1.3 billion to build a brand new 3-row battery electric SUV starting in 2026. That means they're not just focused on gasoline or hybrid cars anymore. They're getting ready for the electric vehicle future. Right here in Kentucky, they've also focused a lot on training. The 4T Academy is one example. It's a partnership with local schools to help students learn the skills they need to work in modern manufacturing. Students get hands-on experience and a real path to a career right after graduation. In 2017, Toyota opened the Production Engineering and Manufacturing Center, PEMC, in Georgetown. That place focuses on improving how they build cars, not just here, but across North America. Engineers there work on new tools, better systems, and safer ways to work. They've already filed nearly 370 patents from that one site. That shows how much thinking and testing goes on behind the scenes. All of this, every upgrade, every new model, every training program, has kept the plant growing and evolving. Georgetown started with a simple idea: build good cars in America. Now, it's one of the most advanced auto factories in the world. In just 2 years, they went from breaking ground to building cars. Now they're turning out one every minute. If you want to learn how they make a car in 60 seconds, keep watching. How the factory builds one car every 60 seconds. All right, let's step inside the factory. How do they actually build a brand new car every single minute? It sounds wild, right? But it's true. A finished Toyota rolls off the line every 60 seconds. That doesn't mean the car itself only takes a minute to build. Each one takes about 18 to 20 hours from start to finish. But because the process is so smooth and different cars are at different stages all across the line, the factory finishes one car per minute. That's the power of the system they've built. So let's break it down. First comes the stamping area. This is where it all starts. Giant coils of rolled steel come in. Picture massive rolls, each weighing several tons. These get fed into massive stamping machines. The presses slam down with tons of force, shaping the steel into parts like hoods, doors, roofs, and side panels. It's loud, fast, and extremely precise. A single press can shape several parts at once, and the machines run non-stop for hours. You'd think it'd be chaos, but it runs like a timed routine. Next, we go to body weld. Here's where robots really shine. Long rows of robotic arms perform thousands of tiny welds, and every spark is controlled. Each robot knows exactly where to move, when to strike, and how much pressure to apply. They form the skeleton of the car, attaching all those stamped panels together. Even though it's mostly machines, there are people nearby at every step, watching for anything that seems off. Then we get to paint. The paint shop is a world of its own. The environment is spotless. No dust, no bugs, no temperature swings. Even a single speck of dirt can mess up a finish. The car bodies go through cleaning, priming, painting, and a clear coat. Each step is sprayed by precision robots. The paint is baked on in ovens to cure it. Toyota has big plans for this part of the process too. As we said, by 2027, they're planning a $922 million upgrade to make it cleaner, more efficient, and better at handling next-gen paint materials. After paint, it's time for assembly. This is where the car comes to life, and this part really shows what makes the factory tick. People and machines work together here. Robots lift and position heavy parts, but people still do a lot of the detailed work, like tightening bolts, plugging in wiring harnesses, fitting dashboards, and checking electronics. Workers stand along the moving line, each doing a specific task at the right moment. It's not rushed, but it is fast. Behind all of this is the Toyota Production System, or TPS. It's what keeps the whole machine running efficiently. One major part of it is JIT, just in time. That means parts aren't stacked up everywhere. Instead, suppliers deliver what's needed right before it's used. Less clutter, less waste. Another key idea is jidoka, which is automation with human oversight. If something doesn't look right, a worker can stop the entire line using an andon cord. Yes, they actually pull a cord. That's not a sign of failure, it's Toyota's way of making sure problems don't pile up. Then there's TNGA, Toyota New Global Architecture. That's basically a smart design idea that lets them build different models like the Camry, RAV4 Hybrid, and Lexus ES on the same production line. They all share certain core parts and design features, which makes the line flexible. If demand drops for one car, they can shift to another without stopping production. All of this is supported by smart tech behind the scenes. AI keeps track of where every part is, and warehouse robots carry trays of parts from storage to the line. Predictive maintenance systems watch the machines and alert staff if something might break. That way, repairs happen before anything goes wrong. It saves time, avoids shutdowns, and keeps things moving. The result is a smooth rhythm. The whole factory moves like a heartbeat, steady, pulsing, never offbeat. One team is stamping, another is welding, and others are painting, assembling, and inspecting, and everything flows together. The engine shop alone turns out over 600,000 engines a year. That's more than 1,600 per day. Each engine gets tracked, tested, and matched to the right vehicle on the line. No guesswork. Every part has a barcode, and every step gets logged. And then, at the end of it all, every 60 seconds, a finished vehicle rolls off the line. It's inspected, tested, and either shipped to dealers or stored briefly before delivery. Some are gas-powered, some are hybrids, and soon they'll be adding fully electric vehicles too. Even though it's high speed, Toyota doesn't cut corners. If something's wrong, it gets fixed. They don't let problems slide, which is why their reputation for quality is so strong. So next time someone says, they build a car every minute, you'll know what that really means. It's not a rush job, it's 20 hours of tightly timed work, spread across an army of robots, workers, suppliers, and systems. It's people and machines working side by side. It's that rhythm, that pulse, that lets one car roll off the line every 60 seconds, every shift, every day. Despite this precision, all of this will fail without this important aspect we'll talk about next. The human engine behind the machine. We've talked about robots, stamping machines, and high-tech paint booths. But now it's time to talk about something even more important. The people. The nearly 10,000 individuals who make this factory run every single day. Because no matter how advanced the technology gets, none of it works without the human engine behind it. Walk onto the floor of Toyota Motor Manufacturing, Kentucky, and you'll see welders, painters, assemblers, and quality inspectors moving with precision and purpose. You'll also find logistics staff running inventory, line support teams troubleshooting bottlenecks, and maintenance crews keeping machines in top shape. Upstairs are engineers, process planners, and trainers, every one of them playing a role in keeping that relentless 60-second rhythm going. Take a welder, for example. They might be stationed besides a robotic arm, watching it perform hundreds of spot welds while checking panel gaps and joint integrity. That human oversight is critical. Or look at the operators running the climate-controlled paint booths, tweaking spray settings for perfect coverage. Then there are the quality controllers, using their eyes and hands to catch issues no sensor could ever flag. It's a blend of craft and science, and it all has to be perfect every time. Toyota doesn't leave any of this to chance. Let's even talk about the 4T Academy in detail. Toyota's own training pipeline for high school students, recent graduates, and transitioning workers. This program partners with local schools and community colleges to give future technicians hands-on experience. Before these trainees even set foot on the factory floor, they know how to handle tools, follow processes, and troubleshoot real problems. The training doesn't stop once someone's hired. Toyota is constantly upskilling its workforce to keep up with changes. When the factory was selected to build the Lexus ES in 2015, it wasn't just a badge of honor, it was a major shift. Lexus standards are among the highest in the industry. To prepare, Toyota trained and hired 750 new workers. 2 years later, in 2017, the plant transitioned to Toyota's new global architecture, a unified platform strategy. That required a $360 million investment and another 700 jobs. Each time the factory adds a new product, it invests heavily in its people. There's also a deep culture of continuous improvement, which is called Kaizen. This is not just a corporate slogan, it's built into the DNA of how the plant runs. Any employee, on any line, can suggest a better way to do something. A small change to how parts are stored, how tools are used, or how stations are laid out can ripple through the entire plant. These ideas are not just heard, they're implemented. That kind of empowerment keeps the team sharp and motivated. It goes beyond efficiency, with safety being a top priority. Toyota has strict protocols, and every employee is trained to follow them. If something seems unsafe or not up to standard, it doesn't get ignored, it gets stopped. This is where Jidoka, automation with a human touch, really matters. It's not about trusting machines blindly. It's about giving people the authority to intervene when something's wrong. The same mindset that fuels quality on the line extends into the community. Toyota also has environmental programs too. Since 2005, the plant has operated with a zero landfill goal, recycling or reusing nearly all of its waste. One standout effort is the methane capture project, launched in 2015 in partnership with a local landfill. Methane gas that would otherwise escape into the atmosphere is captured and piped into the plant, where it powers generators to offset energy use. Water conservation is another big one. The factory reclaims more than 1 million gallons of water every day. It's filtered, reused for processes like cooling and rinsing, then treated again before being returned to the system. There's even a huge garden on site. It started as a sustainability project, but turned into a way to fight hunger. In 2005 alone, Toyota employees helped harvest 2.5 million pounds of fresh produce, most of it donated to food relief organizations. The garden still runs today, offering pumpkins to preschoolers and corn for compost. Talk to the people who work at TMMK, and they'll tell you, this is more than a job. For many, it's a career, a place they've been for 10, 20, or even 30 years. It's a community, a place where they feel seen, supported, and challenged, and it shows. The pride in their work is visible in every vehicle that rolls off the line. So, the next time someone says, Toyota builds a car every 60 seconds, don't just think about the machines. Think about the welder who caught a panel misalignment, the technician who recalibrated a torque wrench, the trainer who helped a new hire master a tough station, and the inspector who flagged a scratch before it ever left the floor. That's the real engine. That's what keeps the factory and Toyota's reputation running strong. You don't want to miss this final chapter. The future of Toyota Motor Manufacturing Kentucky. We've covered the history, the process, and the people. Now it's time to look ahead. This isn't just the biggest Toyota factory. It's also becoming one of the most future-ready. As the industry shifts toward electrification and sustainability, this plant is positioning itself at the forefront of that change. One key development is the production of hydrogen fuel cell modules for heavy-duty trucks. While electric vehicles are getting most of the spotlight, this parallel investment shows that Toyota is hedging its bets, preparing not just for battery-powered cars, but also for alternative propulsion technologies that could define the next era of transport. What sets the Georgetown plant apart is how it's using its built-in flexibility to embrace these changes. Thanks to Toyota's new global architecture, the factory isn't locked into a single type of drivetrain or model. That means it can adapt quickly as market demands evolve, whether that's more hybrids, new electric vehicles, or something else entirely. But the shift isn't just technical, it's cultural and operational. Workers are being cross-trained and reassigned to meet future production needs, a signal that Toyota is investing in people just as much as in machines. Roles are evolving, with some team members transitioning from support positions to hands-on manufacturing roles as the technology changes. Toyota's environmental efforts are also being extended. Ongoing sustainability initiatives, from waste reduction to renewable energy integration, support not just compliance with regulations, but a broader corporate commitment to environmental stewardship. In short, what began in 1988 as a traditional gas-powered car plant is transforming into a multi-technology production hub, one that's ready to handle electric, hybrid, and hydrogen-powered vehicles alike. The mission remains the same: build high-quality cars efficiently, but now it's underpinned by a vision aimed at zero emissions and long-term adaptability. What do you think about Toyota's world's biggest factory? Kindly share your answers, thoughts, and opinions in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel to enjoy more videos like this. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.